Welcome back to Closing Bell here on Cheddar News. Now, around 26 states are likely to ban abortion access following the Supreme Court decision. But all hope is not lost for women in those states. In fact, reproductive health advocates are already discussing ways to get past access barriers that includes telemedicine, which could be a key resource for millions without local access or the ability to drive across state lines to obtain an abortion. So joining me now is Los Angeles-based attorney Harry Nelson, founder and managing partner at Nelson Hardiman. Harry, how can telehealth be used for women in these now restrictive states?
Well, so, as of today, roughly 55% of abortion in the United States occurs by medication. A woman takes a pill, mifepristone, and then, 36 to 48 hours later, takes a second pill, misoprostol. So there will be options for women to go to telemedical providers and to have private, internet-based exchanges with providers to get prescriptions and to be mailed medications. The states that are banning abortion are trying to limit that, but the reality is that they will not be fully able to prevent some of the providers who are out there from prescribing and dispensing the pill, and it's going to arrive privately in an unmarked envelope. So it's not clear how these states, are hoping to limit access in that sense.
Well, could you tell us how telehealth specifically will help those women who are low income that perhaps can't get access to cross state lines?
Right. So in general, the rule is that a person is supposed to only receive care from a doctor licensed in their state. But what we're seeing happen around abortion access is that we have many providers who are willing to respond if a woman sends an email, makes a telephone call and lets them know that what they're looking for and verifies that they are pregnant, that they're within the right timing in their pregnancy before 10 weeks to take the medication, that will mail the medication in. So it's true that lower income women in marginalized communities of color are certainly the most at risk of not knowing about these resources, not being able to actually access them, whether it's with smartphones or other technology. But the resources will be there. And my hope is that if more education and more awareness is spread, that people will learn that they do have options.
So in 2021, the FDA waived the in-person requisite to get this medication that could terminate pregnancy within the first 70 days. What happens after those 70 days?
Well, the medication, the effectiveness of the medication is really before that time. And, it can actually be, it's not necessarily effective, and it may be risky to use it after that time. So that's the medication works it's actually two different medications, mifepristone taken before the 10-week period, and then I believe it's 36 to 48 hours later taking misoprostol, which is like an ulcer medication. But the two medications work hand in hand to essentially terminate a pregnancy. Beyond 10 weeks, the medication is not guaranteed to be effective. And I'm not a clinician, so I'm not going to speak to the health risks at that point, but it's definitely not recommended.
Now, Harry, you were mentioning that this medication, when it's mailed, is in discrete envelopes. Tell me why that's so important, especially in these restrictive states. Is there any chatter about perhaps intercepting envelopes in these states if they come from places that are known to send out this medication?
It's not a realistic possibility. By the way, if you're paying attention to the biggest health challenges in our country, one has been fentanyl, which has been mailed into the country for years from China, from other places, and we've had no success at stopping that. So the idea that state governments are somehow going to be processing mail and finding these medications is unlikely. To the point of impossible. The reality is that the mail is regulated in the U.S. at the federal level, right? When the post office delivers your mail, that's the U.S. government, an employee of the Postal Service, U.S. Postal Service, not the state of Texas or the state of Louisiana. And there's no place in the process where state officials get to come out and check the mail. So the idea that mail is going to be intercepted or searched, that's not one of the issues people should be worrying about right now.
What kind of trouble can these women get in these restrictive states if they do receive one of these packages and do have an abortion via this medication?
It's a crazy thought to me, that a person could be at risk of criminal charges or any kind of sanction for pursuing healthcare that they deemed appropriate for themselves. But that is a prospect that's being waved around. Personally, I just think it's so shocking and so inconsistent with American values to think that a person could be punished for making a choice a health choice, including an abortion, particularly an abortion in the first 70 days. It's chilling to think about it. And I personally think that this is a threat that's out there and not a reality. I'm not a prophet, so I can't tell you it's not going to happen. But it just seems to me unthinkable that we would see women prosecuted for choosing to have this procedure. It just seems frankly unthinkable to me.
Now, the president went on air and said that he's going to fight essentially tooth and nail to try to make sure that every American woman has the right to do what she wants with her body. What can he do to try to ease these restrictions that are now in place?
I think it's going to be very difficult for the administration to do much of anything. I mean, this decision, the practice of medicine in the United States and access to the medication is regulated at the state level. The one thing that the president does have influence over that would potentially be a game changer would be to make this medication available over the counter in pharmacies. The FDA is the Food and Drug Administration, which regulates the medicine, is a federal agency. And if it was turned into an over-the-counter medication, then it would be very easy for one person to pick it up for another person. It would be widely available, and that would be a major, major shift. I don't know if it's going to be politically possible, but if there's one single move that the administration could make that would be a game changer here in terms of guaranteeing access, that would be it.
Yeah, the FDA also is the one that approved to have this regulation to allow these pills to go through mail more easily. We appreciate your time. Attorney Harry Nelson, founder and managing partner at Nelson Hardiman. We appreciate it again for you coming on our show and giving us your expertise.